Remember the funny horse game that was a meme like a year ago, where there's anime horse girls just run at a very high speed. That is the summary of it. I I had a thought. How fast would one of them go on a bicycle? And that led me to a big research that lasted an hour, maybe two. First of all, I needed to find how fast would one of them go. It seems like on the forums, maximum speeds possible are like around 85 kilometers, maybe. Then I needed to find the formula for running energy and stuff. So the big components are air resistance and running resistance, which is it's weird that running resistance here there's no like quadratic formula or stuff because usually it should scale with like quadratically the amount of energy needed. But we'll just take the linear stuff and we will do a lot of assumptions. Also, if you want to skip, I'll just here. The very approximate is is that they would go like maybe 110 kilometers per hour on like a sport bicycle and 180 kilometers per hour in one of those where is it? One of these tubes, super aerodynamic ones. But again, the numbers can vary by like multiple tens of kilometers per hour because they made so many assumptions in calculation and stuff. All right, let me explain how I how I did the calculation so you can rip me apart in the comments because I bet I made some mistakes. Let's see. I made a bunch of calculations which are just approximating other stuff to get the wattage. So a lot of slits in real world, I think they have a power output like at peak at around slightly higher than 2 kilowatts. So here we have the watt number output, here we have the aerodynamic drag formula, and this we did for the bicycles, because bicycles are... where are they? No, not here. Here. Like, most of it is aero, so we can ignore rolling resistance for bicycles, mostly, if you want to get an approximate. Anyway, we got the air formula here, just 0.5 in the air formula. In fact, let's do this. 0.5, then we got, what is it? Air resistance, no wait, drag coefficient. It's actually multiple numbers. God damn it, can I not record in peace? Anyway, as I was saying, it's like multiple values here, where it's drag coefficient area, but we just approximated it to a single number because I'm not calculating like drag coefficient and areas for stuff. We are just deriving it from other values approximately. With enough approximations, the resulting approximation will also be somewhat accurate, probably. We just need a ballpark number that we can say just, yeah, that sounds realistic. And dismiss this. Anyway, yeah, so here we have this record here, 130 kilometers per hour. We divided by 3.6 to get meters per second. We cube it because the formula here is speed and wind speed cubed and then another time multiplied by the speed to get the watts, but we don't account for wind speed, so we just cube it. Yeah, okay, let's see. Here we got, what do we have? I think we did the Usain Bolt world record. I also assumed 2 kilowatts there. And it seems other people agree on some forums about the 2 kilowatts. It's slightly more like 2.5, but who cares? There's okay, no one cares. It doesn't need to be super accurate. Now here we have, with running, we have running resistance. We can't just discount it as we can with bicycles. And so I just use this formula. Usain Bolt weighs 94 kilos at the world record attempt, if I'm not mistaken. It's but he's also pretty big, like almost 2 meters. Again, we convert from kilometers per hour to meters per second by dividing by 3.6. So we got watts here. Again, I think it should be quadratic. Maybe, but we'll just keep it linear because what will really matter is air density, because we got a cube there. And a cube is much more noticeable than a squared number. Again, when dealing with exponentials, there's a lot of stuff you can just discount. Alright, what do we have here? Okay, yeah, we got the horse running speed. We took the coefficient that we assume for humans of 0.5. We got that if the horse girl needs to run at 85 kilometers per hour, then we get 4 kilowatts for drag, and then while the masses of them are, you do not get information about that. I bet you can estimate them from like animations and stuff. But we'll just take, I don't know, 60, 70. I bet they have dense muscles. Or maybe it's just pure magic, so who cares? But again, this doesn't really matter. Like 50, 60, 70, there's no exponentials involved, so you get a number between like 1.5 and 1 and 2 kilowatts, something like that. And again, it's not quadratic for some reason. If it was quadratic, then we can say that instead of 1 or 2 kilowatts, it would be like 4. So, again, the difference there. Alright, what else we have here? Yeah, we also got the Cheeto. Where is it? Cheeto. Let's see. And we did some assumptions with the Cheeto as well. Let's see. 100 watts per kilogram. And an average Cheeto weighs between 21 and 65. So we'll say like, let's take 50 kilos. And multiply it by 100. So 5 kilowatts for a Cheeto. And again, there would be some running involved. Anyway, why did I even calculate this? Yeah, I don't think I use the numbers of drag coefficient for Cheetos for anything. Yeah, this is for the bicycle sprint record, 80 kilometers per hour on a track bicycle. That looks like similarly to the one that most people use, but not actually, with some aero improvements. But it's not a cockpit shell. I guess one without aero bicycle. I don't know what's the track coefficient would be, 0.5 maybe. And then we decrease the speed to sound realistic. Maybe higher than 0.5 for a normal bicycle. 0.6? 0.7? 6.7? I don't know. We'll just assume stuff. Anyway, with the assumptions before, if we assume the power output on the lower end for our running specimen, then we get the numbers of, for a track bike, 110 kilometers per hour, 180 for one of those big tube, super aero optimized ones. If you take the numbers on the higher end, maybe like 8 kilowatts total power output, we could get like 200, maybe 210 in the tube bike. Again, it's like only 30 kilometers per hour difference. It's not that big with these speeds. And on a track bike, let's see, 130 maybe. And on a normal bike, normal-ish, we'll assume this drag coefficient total. Let's see, maybe 90, maybe 100. I don't know. I mean, it would make sense that they would go faster on a bicycle than they would run. But it's not as significant, I guess, because the aerodynamics, the drag, it just scales up a lot. I don't know, if should it be cubed? Maybe it should be squared. But yeah, we have a very general approximation of a power output somewhere between like 5 and 10 kilowatts, which is significant. Like peak power output for people is like 2 and a little bit kilowatts for peak athletes, and continuous maybe like 1 kilowatt. So this is very significant. And the speeds that would allow you to go on a bicycle is depending on the aero dynamic optimization of the bicycle between a normal road bicycle, a racing bicycle, and one of those tubes. Somewhere between like 100 and 200 kilometers per hour. Again, if someone has better formulas, better inputs, please please calculate it. But yeah, I guess the point of this was more to go on a weird journey through websites and wiki pages. Again, zero AI used. I do not use AI for anything. It's cringe. And I like to go on these adventures and find information myself. You have to use your brain, or you have to lose it. Or you will lose it. Well, that was fun. Goodbye.